Technology has enabled scientists, researchers, and observers to see things that we've never seen before. With aerial views, high-resolution photography, and the ability to photograph long distances into space, we are discovering more and more inexplicable and curious things. Let's take a look at 10 of the most mysterious things we found that have been caught on camera. Giant wheels in the Middle East. Thanks to the new aerial photography and satellite mapping technology, researchers have discovered strange circular stones in the Middle East. Found mostly in lava fields in the Azraq Oasis in Jordan, the structures are particularly invisible at ground level because they appear to be just a pile of stones. Referred to by archaeologists as wheels, the stone structures feature a variety of different designs, visible only from above. The most common design is a circle with spokes radiating from the center. They are believed to be at least 2,000 years old and range in diameter from 82 feet to 230 feet. At one time, these stone structures were believed to be used as cemeteries, but now archaeologists doubt that theory because there are so many of them. Since researchers began photographing them from above, thousands of them from Jordan to Saudi Arabia to Syria have been discovered. Still, no one has yet offered an explanation of how they got there or what their purpose is. Hexagon on Saturn. In 1981, NASA's Voyager mission discovered that at Saturn's North Pole, the clouds swirl in a distinct hexagonal shape. But new images suggest that Saturn's now famous hexagonal cloud pattern may be more than it appears. Cassini, the common name for the space research mission that studied the planet Saturn and its system of rings and natural satellites in 2004, was loaded with sophisticated instruments and cameras capable of sending back very highly detailed images. Cassini's mission revealed that there was a bizarre structure at a high altitude above Saturn's North Pole hexagon, a similar hexagonal vortex. The high-altitude vortex may be an extension of the low-altitude vortex, potentially forming an immense tall hexagonal tower, according to studies of Cassini's images. The Cassini spacecraft mission has ended, but without it, these mysteries would remain unexplored and unseen. Gobi Desert signs. Google Maps images have revealed mysterious structures and patterns etched into the surface of the Gobi Desert in China. Grids of zigzagging white lines appear along other various patterns. The measurements of the grids are just over half a mile wide and just over a mile long. It's not known if the grids are made up of reflective material or if they're created with some kind of paint or chalk. Conspiracy theory speculation was that the patterns were street maps of US cities that China was studying, like of Washington, D.C. or New York City. Some claimed these patterns were messages to or from aliens. But it turns out that these patterns are used by China's satellites for calibration and orientation. The satellite's cameras focus on the grids and use them to orient themselves in space. Many other countries use the same kind of calibration technology, but not as prominent. One expert says that the calibration targets in the Gobi Desert are larger than expected, suggesting that China's satellite cameras have poor resolution. Pentagram in Kazakhstan. In an isolated corner of Kazakhstan, a large pentagram is etched into the ground's surface. The five-pointed star surrounded by a circle is clearly visible on Google Maps images. There are almost no signs of settlement or human life in the area, and the closest town is 12 miles to the east. The bizarre symbol measures about 1,200 feet in diameter and is positioned on the other side of a desolate lake, the Upper Tobol Reservoir. Emma Uzmanova, an archaeologist in the area, offers a logical explanation. The pentagram is an ancient symbol used by many cultures and religious groups. As such, the star was a popular symbol during the Soviet era for decorations for building facades, flags, and monuments. So, this particular pentagram on the Earth is actually an outline of a park. The star design was used for roadways, and they are now lined with trees, which makes them more distinctly visible in the aerial photos of Google Maps. Hubble Pyramid. The Hubble telescope supposedly photographed a pyramid on the moon. The infamous image portrays an unnaturally perfect pyramid shape with distinct angles and lines. The lines of the pyramid are so straight that they appear to be too perfectly straight for it to be a result of something created in nature. The pyramid casts a long shadow on the moon's gray surface. The shadow is cast very far across the surface, giving a sense of impressive depth and dimension to the object, whatever it is. The widespread belief is that this photo is fake and that it was created in 2008 as an internet hoax. There is little chance that a pyramid this perfect would be created naturally, unless it was simply a trick of light and shadow. Chinese Pyramid. There are almost 100 giant pyramid-shaped hills located across northwest China. The mystery behind them baffled archaeologists, historians, and ignited excitement among UFO lovers when they were first discovered. In 1945, a U.S. Air Force pilot reported seeing a giant white-topped pyramid as he was flying between China and India during World War II. Over the years, there were many subsequent reports of pyramids spotted across China, especially as China opened up its borders for more visitors, including tourists and other foreign visitors. However, modern technology is the more real reason that these Chinese pyramids are now widely known, as they're very obvious from above. The biggest of the pyramids is 150 feet high and almost 800 feet long, but from the ground these pyramid mounds look more like hills. Experts have confirmed that there is actually no extraterrestrial or mystical explanation. In fact, these pyramids were built for the same reason as the Great Pyramids of Egypt, as a final resting place for China's rulers. The pyramids are ancient mausoleums or burial mounds for early emperors of China and their relatives. The White Pyramid, the first one that was discovered by the American pilot, is actually the burial place for Emperor Wu Di, the fifth ruler of the Western Han Dynasty. Eye of the Sahara. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station captured a beautiful image of a huge crater in Africa on November 22, 2014. The spectacular geological formation is 25 miles wide, and it resembles a giant bullseye, known as the Blue Eye of the Sahara. It's located in the northwestern part of the nation of Mauritania. The huge and mysterious geologic formation is difficult to see from ground level, which is why it was never reported before it was seen from space. The bullseye, also known as the Richat structure, is so large that it is used by astronauts as a visual orienting landmark. Originally, scientists thought the Eye of the Sahara was formed by the impact of a crater. However, there wasn't enough evidence to support that claim. After further study, the geologists determined that the bullseye is actually a geological dome of what was once Earth's crust. It contains rocks that predate the appearance of life on Earth. Scientists now believe that the bullseye was formed when the supercontinent Pangaea began to pull apart. Steppe geoglyphs. In 2015, NASA released photographs of unusual patterns in the ground in Kazakhstan. The huge formations are called the steppe geoglyphs, and scientists have very little idea of how they got there. About 260 designs are carved into the ground, and they're thought to be about 8,000 years old. Mounds, trenches, and ramparts are arranged in geometric shapes and patterns, including circles, rings, and squares. Some of the geoglyphs were formed with stones placed next to each other. The patterns were first spotted on Google Earth in 2007 by an economist who was a Kazakhstan enthusiast. NASA later released satellite images of the geoglyphs in 2014, with the hopes that the images would help solve the mystery of how they were formed. It is not clear if these creations were an early form of art or if they served a practical function. Theories include their ancient solar observations or stellar and constellation references similar to Stonehenge. Optical dating was used to determine that one of the formations date back to between 7,000 and 9,000 years ago. Unknown object on Mars. In March of 2017, the Mars explorer called the Opportunity rover captured a photograph of what appears to be a chunk of metal on the surface of Mars. The clear photo shows an unusually shiny, jagged-edged, sharp object resting on the grainy surface of Mars. The photo's resolution is crisp and defined, dispelling any idea of fraud. It was suspected to be a meteorite, but the shape and jagged edge suggested that the object was not created by nature. UFO buffs jumped to immediate conclusions that this was obviously photographic evidence of aliens. However, a more logical explanation of the metal on Mars is that it is just a piece of debris from the rover itself, or debris from the heat shield that delivered it. Apparently, Earth trash is increasingly common on the Red Planet, with the myriad of satellites and landers that have been arriving on the planet, traveling through its thin atmosphere. Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon was spotted on Google Maps. To Star Wars fans, the ship is an iconic representation of the film franchise, and it's practically a character itself. The spaceship's distinct design is easily recognizable, as much as a character would be. A very dedicated Star Wars fan found the ship using Google Earth images in 2017 before the release of The Last Jedi. Despite how well the studio has attempted to hide the famous ship, it was partially covered on top and it was surrounded by shipping containers. But a very clear photograph shows the top of the ship and its undeniably identifiable shape parked at a production location in the UK. Longcross Studios in Chertsey, England, just outside of London, was home to the Millennium Falcon. At one time, if you opened up Google Maps images and searched the Longcross Studios in Chertsey, UK, you could zoom into the location and spot the Falcon yourself. However, it now appears that Google Maps have updated since 2017 and the Falcon is no longer there. We hope you enjoyed the video. Which one of these mysterious things did you find the most interesting? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked the video, then please click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when a new video arrives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.